Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. Today I want to have a look at a game called Civitas Nihilium. It's a game by James Bradley, self-published a couple of years ago through Kickstarter. And James Bradley has created what he calls the Civitas universe. And within that universe he's created quite the lore. There's a lot of world or universe building in this case, and this was the first game in that world. It's a board game, a card game. He's got a second game, which is a old school pixel art text scrolling game that you can download on the computer. And I believe he's coming out with a third game in the series, another board game that's a city builder type game. So Civitas Nihilium. So what we are detectives, and we have a main character who's on the brink of retirement. And we have our rookie character, somewhat like a Lethal Weapon situation. And we're in a cyberpunk city, and we have to investigate a crime. We have to discover evidence, and then we're going to have to do a final encounter. So we have some crime cards here, and we have green cards, yellow, red, and then the final encounter. And so it goes in difficulty, green, yellow, red, and then the final encounter. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do a yellow crime. And so you you just generally pick one, and then we're going to see what it says here. So what are we doing? We are, okay, so this one here is organs echo in the tunnels, and it's, so if we read a bit of the flavor text here, it says, your chief sends you and your rookie out to question a couple of witnesses who claim they were given tips that a new biker gang have been harvesting organs from homeless citizens and selling them on the black market. Cops and forensics were sent out to answer a call and found 4 bodies at the disused metro station, now in the infamous poop zone. So that's the crime, and we have to investigate it. So on this crime, so on this card, what you can see is the text, the flavor text. 30 represents the amount of evidence we're going to need to collect in order to go to the final encounter. And you can see there's 2 boxes here, an A side and a B side. And we're going to roll, and then and I'll talk about this in a second, and we'll get whatever result we get. If we get between 1 and 15, we're going to do this side and do this sort of setup. And if we roll 16 or more, we're going to do this kind of a setup. But before we get to this, let's talk about our characters. So who are we going to be? It's a good question. So we could pick a main character. Okay, so we have, in this case, we have Detective Leonidas. He's a veteran cop from Civitas Tal, celebrated for integrity with your scruffy dog Cat by your side. You've uncovered corruption at the highest level, and it resulted in your exile. Now your new home is back to business with the full support of your new chief and mayor. So Civitas Tal is another city. We're in Civitas Nihilium. And our special power is we can negate all negative effects from the following. So all attached upgrades. If we upgrade our character, we have or if there's any negative effects from the chief of Civitas Nihilium and the mayor of Civitas Nihilium, and all first responders from Civitas Tal. So that's going to be our detective. So who are we going to pick for our rookie? Constable Silver Fox. Silver Fox Jones is the son of a famous neo-human. This academy ace has an eye for the crime scene, an analysis-driven, logic-based cadet with a great future ahead of him. So his special ability is when this rookie wins analysis trial, we're going to receive 1 ion, and we'll talk about that in a second. So those are our detectives, okay? So let's get back to talking about what this card actually does. What are some of the trials here? So, okay, so the first 3 are resources, and the second 3 are basically our modifiers for the trials that we're going to have to roll for in this crime. So the first one is reputation, and we have 4 for reputation. We have 3 ether, and that is the currency of Civitas Nihilium. And we have 1 ion, which is a power source, and we need power to travel to locations and use upgrades. And the ether we're going to use to buy upgrades. You know, the cybernetic wetware, so to speak. The following 3 are the sort of modifiers. So the first symbol is charisma, the second symbol is engagement, and the third symbol is analysis. And then below that is our health points. So that's the card in a nutshell, and we'll explain that further. And as you can see, Silver Fox here, Constable Silver Fox, has 3 reputation. He's got no ether, no ion. He has some no charisma, no engagement, but he has 4 analysis and hit points of 7. All right. So what we're going to do now is, okay, so that's the crime. We're going to put that up here. Or again, actually, this board here is this isn't the game mat that comes with the game. It comes with a like a paper mat, which I found to be a bit crowded, but I think I've made this one crowded as well. It was a good mat that came with the game, but I wanted something with a little bit more flavor, so I took this image off the internet. Maybe someone in the comments can, if you'll guess what type of game this is. This was a game that had a bit of controversy back in the day, or a couple of years ago anyway, and we're just waiting to see if it comes back onto Steam. But I'll let you figure out if you can figure out the what the game title is. So anyway, so that's the crime. What we have to do now is find the final encounter that goes with that crime. So you just pull up the final encounter deck, and we were looking for basically organs echo in the tunnels. So there's a whole bunch of missions that you can do, so there's that, so we'll just play that there, the final encounter. So I'm just going to put this here for now because we don't really need that. I'm going to put these cards over here because we don't need those. I'm going to put the rookie character, the main character, here. And this is a dice rolling game, so like I said, we have our modifiers, and what that means is we need to track our stats. So 1 for ion, so pink is represented by ion, 1. Green is our ether cost, or our ether value, so we have 3 for Detective Leonidas, and we have 4 for reputation. And 3 reputation for Silver Fox, 0 ether and 0 ion, so that's all his. We are then going to get our 30 evidence that we're going to have to remove off the final encounter before we can attempt it. So we're going to bring this down here for a second, actually. What else we got to do? So I've already set up part of the game. So we have an upgrade deck, we have a witness deck, and we have a location deck. So we're going to have to go to locations, interview witnesses, interrogate, arrest, whatever, to be able to remove some evidence tokens. And at certain points in the game, we'll be able to upgrade our characters if we have enough currency to buy the upgrades. And remember, Detective Leonidas doesn't have any, won't take any negative effects from those upgrades. Okay, so what do we have to do now? Let's go back to the card. So we have to roll for analysis, and we have to get depending on the result, we're going to do one of these 2 boxes. Now, there's a couple of ways we can do trials. We can do them combined with the rookie, which means we're going to draw We're going to roll the dice, once for the main character and once for the rookie. That's what this symbol here means when the two icons are together. When they're separated, you can do either the rookie or the main character to roll for that trial. And when there's just one icon, whether it's the light person shadow or the person what am I looking for? Outline, then that would be the main character, and if it's the dark blue or the blue outline, then that's for the rookie. And so we'll get to those as we move through the game. So again, our analysis modifiers when we roll is 3 for the detective and 4 for the rookie. So those are what we're going to add. So we're going to roll the dice. So I got 6 for the main character plus 3, so that's 9, so his total got 9. And 5 plus 4 is 9, so he had got 18. So the total roll was 18. So if we bring this back, so we got 16 or more, so we're going to do the B side. So what it says here is we're going to draw the following into our investigation. So this FRC stands for first responder cards, so we're going to draw 2 first responder cards. We're going to draw 2 witness cards and 2 locations into our investigation. And then we're also going to add the poop zone location into your investigation and draw 4 witness cards as attached victims. Like in the flavor text where it said they found 4 bodies, well, that's what we're going to have to do. We're going to add 4 bodies to that the poop location. And when we pass those when we investigate those bodies, if we're successful, we're going to collect 5 evidence. And if we're not, we're going to lose reputation equal to half the qualifier. So, not good. So this is actually, that's a bit difficult. Hence why it's a yellow card, a yellow crime. Okay, so getting back to this, let's start at the beginning. 2 first responder cards. So we're going to bring 2 of these guys. We're going to keep them face down for now. And it says we draw 2 witness cards. So we're going to bring 2 witness cards into our investigation. And there are qualifiers that you'll have on every card. I know there's a lot going on here, but it is actually, there's quite a lot going on. But so when you see things in the right-hand corner of cards here, or the right-hand part, that means it's a qualifier. We must have that in order to interact with the card, whether it's go to a location or interact with a witness. And so this, for example, says we need 6 reputation to be able to interrogate this guy. Now, Civitas Nihilium is like it's a class-based system, or a caste even, where certain people have high reputation, or individuals have reputation, and if you're lower than their reputation, then they think nothing much of you, and you can't actually go and talk to them. You need to at least have that level of reputation to interact. So it's a combined score when we talk about our detective and our constable here. So our detective has 4 reputation, and our constable here, our rookie, has 3, which means we have 7. So it means we can interact with this guy right now if we can. So I'm going to bring him into our investigation. I'm going to bring him into our investigation because this one is 8 qualifier, so I don't have that yet. So I'm going to bring those 2 witnesses into our investigation. And then I'm going to bring in 2 locations. Now this is the tricky one because I only have 1 ion. And so if I look at this card here for a location, its qualifier is 8 ion. So for me to get to the Mashrovia location, a hub for scum and petty criminals, maybe think the cantina in Star Wars. It's a good job you know the folk and they know you, or else they'd have your rookie for breakfast. Anyway, so that's what this this location is, and we can't get there yet because we don't have the ion charges. So I probably won't pick that one. I'm going to pick these 2 because these are the lowest ion charges here, so I still can't get to them. But you see there's 4, and this one has 5. But I'm going to bring them in because I need to, because that's what the game tells me to do. And then moreover, it tells me I needed to find the poop zone and put 4 witnesses on there. So I'm going to look at the location and try find the poop zone. Can't believe I'm looking for the poop zone. Dun, dun, dun. Things are really going down the toilet when you're looking for the poop zone. So, as you can see, there's lots of locations. There's no duplicates here. So I give the designer James Bradley credit for, I mean, each card is individual. So there's the poop zone. And like, look at this this witness deck. Like there's, I don't know how many cards are in that witness deck. I can't remember, but there's a, keeping with the theme, there's a crap ton. Anyway, so this is the poop zone. All right, so we were told to bring that into our investigation. And we were told to add 4 victims to it. So what you do is you just draw 4 victims onto this card, and we'll deal with these people after. So we're just going to put them like that. And that's the setup for this crime. So again, we need to figure out who's killing these people, and we do that by interviewing, going to locations, removing the 30 evidence that we need to from this from the final encounter, and then when we do that, we can then turn over the final encounter and go through the 3 trials for that, and then we'd successfully win that crime, or solve that crime, and then we could move on to the next crime. And again, there's levels of difficulty that you could try and do. So right now we're doing a yellow. So generally there's 3 crimes that you would do for a game session. And if you wanted an easier way of it, you'd do more green and yellow. If you wanted to ramp up the difficulty, then you add more yellow. And then if you want to get into real difficulty, then you add more red. So crimes. So you can mix and match however you want to do it. But again, your guy is days from retirement. You've got a rookie on here, and we have to figure out who's killing people in the poop zone. You know, their number has been flushed. I don't even know if that makes any sense. Anyway, so this is what we've got right now. Well, the first thing we're going to do is deal with the first responders, and we'll go through there. So let's reveal the first responders. So we have Detective Korg Taylor. You're sure that your impending retirement is what's bringing a smile to Korg's face. He briefly shows you the crime scene, followed by showing you, your rookie, his latest upgrade. There's no shame in giving yourself a shortcut, kid. This Civitas is impossible. So what we're going to do here is, so this is where the trials come in. So we're going to choose what we want to do. We can do this trial, which is for the main character because it's just got the 1 symbol there, and we need to get an 8 or above on the charisma. And if we're successful with that, we're going to be able to remove 2 evidence from the thing or from the crime, and we can gain 2 reputation. And if we're unsuccessful, we're going to lose 2 reputation. And then, or we could do an analysis roll with both of them, because that's the symbol for 2 of us, and we have to get 14 or more. And if we are successful, we're going to get 5 reputation and 2 locations. So the main character, my main character here, let's put that over there for a second. If you remember, he doesn't have any modifiers for charisma, and we're rolling a 10-sided die. So to get 8 is pretty tricky. That's pretty much of a gamble, and I don't want to lose reputation because then I'm going to not be able to hit some of the witnesses I've already got. So I am going to roll for combined analysis. And our combined analysis is 3, 4, so I've already got 7. I'm basically halfway there already with my modifiers. So let's see what happens. So we're going to roll this dice. I got 5. So that's 8 for the main character. And I got 5 and 4, so that's 9. And so we're successful. We got more than the 14. So we got more than 14. So now we get to do the green cards. Or sorry, the green cards. We get to do the green. Or what we could have done was we could have exchanged, instead of doing these two, we could have done an exchange where we would have exchanged ion for evidence. And I mean, this would have been a great first responder in a later crime where maybe we'd had like 10 or 12 ion. But right now we only have 1. So, all right, so let me just pause this for a second. I'll be right back. Okay, so now that we were successful with Detective Taylor here, we're going to first take off 5 evidence from the main, the final encounter, and we're going to draw 2 locations into our investigation. So we're going to draw 1 from the reveal pool, and because we don't have any more, we're going to draw another one blindly off the top of the deck. The first responder card then gets shuffled back into the first responder deck, but I'm not shuffling it because we're not going to play long enough, and if we do have another first responder, I'd rather just show you him as opposed to that one again. So that was that. And then we're going to now take care of this Sergeant Shark Slammer. Now he, as you can see here, he's first at the scene, is a cop you've known for many years. Shark Slammer tells you that there's one line of inquiry that might not exactly be by the book. It's a gamble, but one he feels may pay off. He suggests you both grab a beer and discuss it. An old Shark Slammer here looks like he's had many beers to over topics. So here, the main character would roll for charisma to try to get a 4 or more, and then would remove 1 evidence and get 2 reputation. Or we could combine for analysis and get 4 evidence in 1 location. Or we could exchange ether for evidence plus 1 reputation. Now this, I think, I'm going to do because I want more reputation. I don't feel like gambling. You know, you're thinking, well, it's only a 40% chance that he's going to have an issue here, but trust me, the dice gods aren't necessarily with us all the time. So I'm going to spend 2 ether, which is here, so I'll go down to 1. I'm going to get so I'm going to remove 2 evidence. So we'll take this 5, and then we'll just get a 3 instead. And I'm going to get 2 reputation. So I'm going to bring up my main character to 6. Let me think. Do I want to do anything more than that? No, because we've got... Yeah, okay. Because the qualifiers here are 6. 6. Yeah, so we're good. So this first responder now is discarded. Again, not shuffling it in there. Okay, so what are we going to do now? The poop zone has 4 victims. And again, what we have to do for the victims is we're going to roll for analysis because we were here. And for both of our characters. And we have to pass the qualifier that's listed on the victims. And if we do so, we're going to collect 5 investigation. If not, we're going to lose equal to half the qualifier. So reputation equal to half the qualifier. So, all right, so in the poop zone, what victims do we have? We have Skinner, Oini. Whatever. And then we have fodder at 5, and we have H, simple man, 6. So I think we're going to start with at the poop zone. So we're going to leave this guy here, Skinner, at 14. We're going to leave him to the end, because I don't feel like doing that right off the top of the bat. So between the two of us, we're going to roll analysis. Well, we actually don't even have to roll, because we have the bonuses are 7. So we're going to pass this one, because it was only at a 3. So we're going to discard that. Now usually these, okay, well, it's a victim, so we'll get to witnesses and key witnesses after, but that's just discarded. And I get to take off 5 investigation, so that's 5. I'm going to do the same thing again for this one. And I'm going to do the same thing again for this one, because automatically I win these anyway, because my bonuses are at 7. Or my modifiers are at 7. So that's 10. So I'll discard these 2 cards, and then so now that's 10. And then the poop zone still has this one here. So he's got 14. So what we're going to do now, so we're going to roll here to, yeah, okay, so we're going to roll. All we need is at least 7 on these between our 2 rolls, and we should be, and we'll be okay. Well, I got 7 right off the bat. See? No lie. I don't even know if you'll be able to see that. It's green. It's a green translucent die. So we did that. He's discarded. And another 5 off the top. So you can see here, depending, like it just worked out where my modifiers for my main character and my rookie are at 7 already. So, and having to get 5 evidence off for every successful victim analyzed, like that really ran through the final encounter evidence really quickly. But again, that was had I not had these modifiers, and had I not drawn such low victims in the qualifiers for reputation, like for example, if most of these guys' qualifiers were like 14 and I didn't have any, or if I had only had 1 or 2 as a modifier for reputation or analysis, then you can see rolling 14 would have been a problem. So I was fortunate in the way, the victims came out, and the fact that my 2 detectives here actually had positive analysis modifiers. All right. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do here, so we've successfully investigated the poop zone. We went in there with our 2 hands, got ourselves dirty to clean up that mess. So I'm going to do this card. I probably should have played this card right off the bat, but here we're going to gain 1 reputation, and we're going to draw 2 witnesses. So I'm going to bring up and then this is a key witness, but he's just going to be discarded. Well, he'll be a key witness, because it doesn't say to discard the card. Now, key witnesses will help you in the final encounter. So when you get to that point in the game, you should pick whatever witnesses you have that you've put as a key witness. You have to choose one, and that might help you in the final encounter. So we get to draw 2 witnesses. So we're going to bring in old H.P. Richwood, and we'll draw 1 off the top, and then old Brian Lewis. So what are we going to do now? So I'm going to travel to, actually I have no ion. So I can't actually go to any locations because my ion level is only at 1. So I actually can't travel here. I was able to get to the poop zone because that was at a 1. Okay, well let's talk about, okay, we have 6 and we have 10. So I can't make it to Brian Lewis here. And interesting thing is, so these are glee heads. Anything pink, when they've got pink hair, they're basically glee heads in the game. And if I'm able to pass this qualifier, which I can't because I only have 10 right now, I would add 1 unit of glee. So you would add these things. And then when you get 3, you're able to look at you're able to flip the final encounter. So it basically gives you an insight as to what is coming. And so maybe you want to try to do witnesses or go to locations that will increase certain attributes to help you pass that final encounter. Okay, so I can't do that guy. So what I want to do here is I've got 3 evidence left. We need ion. So we're going to go to the poop zone. Well, I shouldn't say we removed the victims from the poop zone, but I actually never dealt with the card itself. So we're going to roll for analysis on the rookie, and depending what we get, we're going to be able to remove some evidence. So let's roll this dice. He got a 7 plus his 4 modifier. So he's got 11, which is 9 plus. 8 evidence is off. We can only remove 3 because that's what we have. And we can reveal the final encounter. So the poop zone, so this goes back into the location deck, shuffled. But I'll just leave that here for now. So let's look at this final encounter for this card. See, it's also interesting because this mission had the victims, and the victims allow me to remove the evidence at a high rate, like 5 evidence per victim removed. So I was able to really get through that. Otherwise, it would have been a bit of a struggle because I'd have been able to go through most of the witnesses that we've drawn because of the qualifiers, but I wouldn't have been able to get to any locations because I have no ion. Okay, so we reveal the final encounter. Organs echo in the tunnels. If your main character has more than 10 reputation prior to starting this final encounter, you may take upgrades. Okay, so my main character only has 6 reputation, so can't do that. Again, maybe had I drawn this one as my, say, second crime, or even the 3rd crime in my series of 3 crimes that you usually do when playing, then I probably would have had 10 reputation to take advantage of that. In the age of tech replacing biomatter, you have to wonder why any gang would be interested in harvesting human organs. Decrypting the codes behind the transactions was a tough job, but now the real business of tracking their exact location and making the arrest must come into play. The gang's base lurks deep in CN's main sewer system. Okay, so what we have to do here, so this is our final encounters. We're going to have to go one after the other, and we're going to need an analysis roll of 16 plus to get to the second one, and then we're going to need an engagement of 16 plus, and then we're going to have to get a charisma of 10 plus. All right, and if we're successful, we're going to get 3 reputation, 7 ether, and 2 ion. Okay, so let's do this then. An analysis of 16. Okay. Well, 1 plus 4, or plus 3, so I've got 4 for the main character. Okay. 8, so that's 12, plus 4. He's got 4, not lying. If you remember, he's got 4. So that is 16. So we did it. So we're on to engagement of 16 plus. And my engagement modifiers are only 3 for the main character. So this is going to be tougher. All right, so we have to engage and arrest these suspects. Come on, Leonidas. So he's got 1. So that's 4 in total. So I already can't do it. I'm going to fail because the most I can roll is a 10. All right, so I fail that. So I lose 9 hit points and I lose 5 reputation. So the reputation I can take. So if I lose 5, I'd bring him down to 1. The thing that's going to kill me here is in this arresting of suspects, we got into a bit of a scuffle, some shots fired, and it looks like I got hit by for 9 hit points. The only problem here... Okay, so we're going to do 5... Let's get these hit points here. So 5, I'm going to split them out 5. And 4, obviously, but I just need to get 4. And these are the 4. So my main character now only has 2 health and 2 health for the rookie. So let's try and testify at... so that was a bit of a bungled arrest. So Leonidas and Silver Fox are now, well, probably testifying at the Nihilium Secret Tribunal and from a hospital bed. All right. So they need a 10 plus. So 10. 0 on a 10-sided die is 10. So I did it. So we were successful at prosecuting the victims, the criminals, the gangs behind the organ harvesting in the poop zone. So what you then do, so I'm going to bring this, so the bonuses here are 3, so we're going to go up to 4 reputation on my main character. We're going to get 7 ether, so put 6 there, and then 2, and we get 2 ion, so I'm going to bring 2 here. And that is that card. So we've completed that crime. So good job, us. And that's that's basically Civitas Nihilium in a nutshell. So now then we would go on to our second crime, whether that would be another green one or a yellow one or even if a red one. I wouldn't want to do a red one now with these stats on my main character and rookie. So that is Civitas Nihilium in a nutshell. Hopefully it gives you an idea of how the game plays. Now, again, I think I mentioned it earlier, but this was just a custom mat that I made myself, or it's just on foam board. It's not a mat, but I just like the colors. As you know, I just like it. It adds a little bit more theme to it, in my opinion. Not that there's not a lot to need added, because it's a storytelling game. You try to get into it, like, you know, investing in the characters, reading the flavor text, you know, adding things, you know, sort of, was it not DM style, but trying to add more story into it as to why you're going to these locations and, investigating these characters. And, so you try to do a bit of storytelling in it. I didn't get to any of the upgrades because I didn't have any ether when we first laid out the crime. So I didn't get a chance to buy anything. So now when we would go setting up for the next crime, we'd have another upgrade phase, at which point we could hopefully, again, here we'd have 8 ether, so we could buy, the Talonco Platinum membership or the Profit. So what is this? I can show you the Profit here. So here, what this does here is it costs 3 ether to buy, and it costs 1 ion charge to use every time. And so for use on any trials, including final encounter cards, you roll your d10. If the result is odd, you double it. If the result is even, you half it, then add the relevant skill bonuses. So that's the Profit. So that's an upgrade that's pretty cool, I guess. So it's an earpiece linking to the mysterious profundum dimensional portal, allowing for space-time to be manipulated at a point chosen by the user. Proof is inconclusive, yet the device seems to manipulate the user's destiny. So that's the Profit. Sounds interesting. Who doesn't like a little bit of a free credit card? So this one costs 6 ether, doesn't cost any ion to use, and you gain 3 ion. Upgrades are free unless you visit a location. When this happens, you pay 1 ether. If you can't pay, you roll a d10. And 1 to 6, you remove all upgrades, and 7 to 10, nothing happens. So, upgrades are free unless you visit a location. When this happens, you pay 1 ether. So that's an interesting one. And then the other one, the FM 2030 teleportation module. So here it costs 3 ether. It costs 2 ion to use every time. And so when dealing with locations that have an ion charge qualifier, a charge of this upgrade enables you to bypass this and all ion charge qualifiers. So had I been able to buy this at the beginning of the crime, if I just had 3 ether and some ion, obviously, I would have been able to get to those locations because I wouldn't have needed to pass these qualifiers. So that would have been extremely handy had I just had the ether to buy it and the ion to use it. So a big part of this game is figuring out when you're choosing a main character and a rookie, is what works well together. There's some really interesting combos that can be developed within the main character and rookie decks. There's one where you can, what's the main character? It was used in, here, Spook Pollock. So let me just I'll find the rookie that goes well with this character. So when in trials, you can add a wound to him to add points to any trial. Anyway, you can add wounds to this guy to increase your trial numbers. And then at the end of each trial, and before you take any other actions, this person is able to heal. So you can see how they complement each other. You can add wounds to this one, and this one heals them. It's quite a good combo. We didn't get into the Glee heads. There's a bunch of factions. The transhumans. We didn't actually have any transhumans come out here. They're very high reputation qualifiers. But again, there's look at this deck. There's a whole ton of witness cards. And there's a whole ton of location and upgrades. So there's a lot to do in this game. There's a lot to investigate and see. A lot of heart and effort went into this universe. And so I give kudos to James Bradley for the time and effort it took to do it. Not that it doesn't take time and effort to do everything, but you can see the love and care that went into this game. I'll have some final thoughts on it in another video probably. But now that was just a bit of a gameplay. I hope I didn't make too many mistakes. When you're trying to showcase the game, sometimes I miss a few things, so hopefully I didn't screw up too badly. But at the end of the day, it's a storytelling game. So as long as, you know, what you're doing kind of makes sense, or at least makes sense to you, and you're having a good time, just go. So that's Civitas Nihilium. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. And have a wonderful day. Bye.